Okay, now that we've got our terrain modelled as individual triangulated elements, I'd like to actually turn those into an actual formz terrain object. So to do that, what I've got to do is use the modify contour command first. Modify contours. I'll change my contour increment to every 1 metre. Leave the layout at elevation. Holding my shift key down, I'll select each of my triangulated faces. Okay, click outside then to do that, and then go back to the pick tool, and that then leaves us with contour lines at 1 metre intervals running through our original terrain model. Okay, so a couple of things we've got to do with that now is the first thing is we've got to extend these lines out slightly. So one way of extending each of those lines out slightly might be to use the pick tool and topological level points and drag those points. No, that's going to change their angle if I do that, so I think I'll escape out of that. I might go to the line tool and go to the end of the line, and while I've got the red and green axes for that line element, I'm just going to come out on either the red or the green axis so that I go outside of the site. So I could go out this way or that way. Doesn't really matter, and just a short little line segment would be nice if I do something like that. And the other end of it, I might just make this go on the green just for something different. We've just got to extend, I'll show you what we're doing. We've just got to extend these lines so they go through and intersect the site. And what I want to do then is join, holding my shift key down, join all of these individual elements such that I end up with, click outside and select that to show you, such that I end up with, I've got to go back to my topological level and set that back to automatic again, such that I can end up with one contour line that intersects through my site boundaries. Okay. So I'll just go back and show you that again. Line. I'll just draw a line along the red axis. If I go off those axes there, I'd actually be snapping down to z equals 0. So I've got to stay on these axes to keep my elevation at the same point. So I'll do all of those first. Okay. Just need to extend past a little bit. That guy, extend it a little bit that way too. And this one. So you should be right as long as you stay on your red or green axis direction, but you can have a look around there that they're all at the same elevation height. So I'll use my join command now with my shift key. I've already done this one up here, so I'll just do it to these, making sure you don't lose any of these little ones. Like that. Click outside to finish that and keep going until you've done your whole site. Click outside and this one. And the last one. Careful about little pieces like that. Okay, so click out of there and just make sure we've got, oh no, this one didn't happen. Better do that again. Join. I probably pressed escape too early or something like that. Okay, click outside. Right, and I've got one individual contour running straight through. Okay, next thing. I need a site object, a plain 2D shape for the site object, and I generally draw that down at the elevation 0 at the reference plane through here. Now you'll see as we've been working in formz, it's kept all our original geometry and turned them into a ghosted outline, and you'll see that effect here over in the objects here. You see all these objects that are ghosted. Okay, and they're everything you've drawn as you've done it. Before you've done any editing command or made new objects from it, it's kept all those original objects as well. Now, if I go to the first objects in my object list early on, just scroll up to the top of your objects list through there. They'll probably be the lines that I originally created. Now I want to turn them back on for the moment so I can make a 2D shape. So if I turn on object 5, for example, just by hitting ghosted and then hitting that again, you'll see, yes, I have turned on that first line that I drew. So I want to go round my site until I've got the outside boundaries of my site. I'm not interested in the inside ones. So if I have a look at the next one, you'll see what I mean. If I click that twice, that's one of the inside ones. I don't want that, so I'll turn that back to ghosted. Let's have a look at object 9. No, that was an inside one that I didn't want. Now, any that say copy, they'll be the ones that have been copied up to their correct elevation. So they're not going to interest me. So I'll try object 12, and that's another one there. So let's try object 13, and it's an internal one, so I don't want that. And 14, probably an internal one also. So I'll just scroll down now. Now, like I say, if it says copy, I won't want that. Go to object 17. No, don't want that one. No, not 18 either. Not 19 either. Copy, you won't want. Object 21. Try that again. I think object 21 might be this one hiding in under here, so I'll just try that. Yes, it did. Turned on very, I just noticed it turned on very lightly. Object 22 is an internal, so I don't want that. Object 23, another internal, don't want that. Won't want it to copy. Object 24 I want. Object 25 is an internal. And object 26, another internal. Won't want to copy. Object 27 I do want. And let's try object 28. And object 28 I want also. So they're the objects that make the original perimeter of my survey. So I'm going to join all of those. Use the join command, holding my shift key down to join all of those so that I end up with a perimeter two-dimensional shape. Look outside. So there's my perimeter two-dimensional shape. So I've now got what I need to use the terrain command with. If I go back to the terrain command, but sometimes it's a good idea. There's another command under here, under the specialties. There's the terrain command, but there's this contour doctor command, which just checks out if everything's going to be okay. I'll just try that. Now we can try it one line at a time if you like. You can try contour doctor for that line, and then select the site. And it brings up a dialog box here and it says if there's going to be any errors or any problems, and sometimes it'll fix them for you. So that was all okay. I'll just try this one, and why I like to do it one at a time, there's not many to go through, is because you'll then find if there was a problem with an individual one. It's the third one down, no problems. The fourth one down, no problems. And the last one at the bottom there. Okay, there was actually a problem here, see? It found an error. It's actually fixed this for us. It said there was an inconsistent elevation. So that wouldn't be any good. They'd all need to be at the same elevation. So that's fixed that there for us. So what I should be able to do now, I've checked them all. I'll go to the terrain tool, holding my shift key down. I'll pick all of the contour lines. And having picked the contour lines, click outside and now click the site object, and it forms my terrain for me. Okay. Now it's still active, it's still in the edit mode, so I can come over to the options while it's in that edit mode and change things. I'll want a mesh structure, and I'll actually want to triangulate it. Just keep your eye on the screen. You see what happens when you triangulate it. Have a look at each of these individual squares that make up the surface. When I triangulate that, you see it's turned all of those squares into triangulated shapes. And we actually need that for one of the later stages. Contour heights used existing, so that's exactly what I want, so I can go back to the pick menu, and there we are. There we've got our good terrain. Okay, I'll just go to the underside of this, and I'll use my reshape tool to I need to get to an underside view and use my reshape tool. Okay, I can't seem to get to the underside, but that won't really matter. I was just going to try and do a reshape to push that up to be a smaller volume to work with. I'll stop the video and have a look at why that might happen and come back and re-edit that, but not to worry if it doesn't. We still do have a triangulated shape. If I click on that, we still do have our triangulated contours terrain model. So I'll just stop the video for now. I'll do a bit of investigation as to why I can't use the reshape tool, and come back to you in a second.